Welcome to Pro Bono Surgery Day. I appreciate you all rearranging your schedules to be here. I would make a speech, but we don't really have the time.
25 surgeries in 12 hours. It's bound to be a hitch or two.
How much longer?
Get a handle on your operation, Gray. These people are about to riot.
Code violet. What's code violet? It means somebody's getting violent with hospital staff. We're all just gonna back up. This is not how this ends.
First off, I absolutely loved the trailer. Thought it was really, really good. But we'll talk about the trailer after we talk about Life on Mars, which a lot happened, but not a lot happened. It's really weird the way this episode felt because I think it's building up a lot to come. And the one thing that came out of it was at the very final second. So the way I have this episode review broken up is we're going to talk about Joe, Link, and Amelia. Then we're going to talk about Meredith, Owen, Maggie, Teddy, and Tom because that's a collective storyline. And then we'll talk about Weber, Bailey, and DeLuca. Just to get Jackson out of the way, him and Vic, I don't care for their issues. I don't care for the Station 19 because Grey's Anatomy is becoming a advertisement for Station 19. I don't care about his issues with Vic. I apologize. And then we also had Glasses, who was, he's a main character, but he was really there for like one scene because he was minorly involved with Meredith's storyline. But there was really nothing going on with him. And thankfully, Alex Landy was not in the episode because I can't take his dry acting. So let's talk about Joe, Link, and Amelia, which I would say is the B storyline of this episode because it was so small, but it was really good. So we found out that Joe was living with Link due to Alex leaving her. She's so upset. She needs someone to live with. I guess it makes sense that she wouldn't go live with Meredith because her and Meredith aren't the best of friends, but I really like them building up Joe and Link's friendship. And then, at the beginning of the episode, they're really peeved about love. Link is hating on Amelia, Joe's hating on Alex. And then Amelia kind of gets wrapped into the storyline because, as I said at the start of the episode, they're hating on love. And then there's these two kids who are making out on the train tracks, so they're like really annoyed by it. And then later on, when they're in the ER of the hospital talking, the two kids, one of them gets injured because he fell into the train tracks, and then Amelia is involved with dealing with his head trauma. And essentially, it's just Joe and Link bouncing off each other the whole time. And then we have Joe's amazing speech to Link to tell him to go to Amelia because Joe will rise. I'm glad they're doing that for Camille Luddington. I do feel that she needs someone to really work with. I think it's very hard for her to own a storyline. I mean, she's a good actress, don't get me wrong, but she's not. I think Ellen Pompeo, Kelly McKeary are just a little bit better and can run their own storyline. I think, Joe always needs someone. However, I will give Camille Luddington major credit for the storyline that involved the rape of her mother. Anyway, I love Joe's speech to Link. I do want to see where her storyline's going. I am very curious. And then Link went to go deal with Amelia, and he said, "I love you. I'll be with you even if the baby's not mine." I'm glad that he accepted that, though I do think it's still wrong of Amelia to withhold the father's or the baby's paternity for so long. But then at the end of the episode, we find out that the baby is in fact Link's, which is awesome. So I'm really happy. So Link and Amelia are together. Joe is healing. So I really did like that storyline quite a bit. All right, now we can talk about Meredith, Owen, Maggie, Teddy, and Tom. It's so much. It's kind of hilarious. And these guys, I think, were their storyline, even though the five of them never were together at once. Meredith and Teddy never even interacted, but all five of them, they were the main focus of the storyline. So, as I said earlier, Glasses was involved with Meredith. They had a patient who was, she was essentially rationing her insulin, which is which is unfortunate. And Meredith's arc this season is to fix the medical industry on some level. And she feels awful that this woman is rationing her insulin and the woman died. I like how the patient motivated Meredith, but I wasn't super attached to her. When she died, I was like, ugh, it's to make Meredith more motivated. Now, there was a big tech rocket scientist guy that came to the hospital. He has had some really bad press, and he was looking for some excuse to get around it. Meredith gets involved, and then she gets annoyed, and then she has Jackson get involved because she's like, "Your mother, your problem," because he. So, by the way, the big tech guy who played Chuck on Desperate Housewives, I believe they only said his name once in the episode, and honestly, I just like the name Chuck, so I'm going to call him Chuck. So Chuck, quote unquote, is friendly with Catherine Avery. He rented out a whole floor of the hospital. Meredith is annoyed of the fact that he has this whole wing of the hospital to himself, while this poor woman just died on her table. You know, more or less. I mean, originally the woman was alive, and she was annoyed that the guy rented a whole wing, and then Meredith's like, I don't want to deal with rich people. So at the end of the episode with Meredith and Chuck and Karasik, there's a really great scene of Karasik and Meredith, which I really, really liked. And then we have Tom going back to Chuck again, and he says, you know, you have an aneurysm. He's lying in order to get the guy to give him money, because he talked to Meredith earlier in an amazing scene about where do you find the line to break the law. And it's interesting that the show is so self-aware that characters do this, that they are asking how to do it properly. So I like that. And then Chuck gave Tom a bunch of money, and that's what we're going to talk about in the trailer review. So I really liked Meredith and Tom scene with this, and I kind of like how Jackson got pulled into it. That was my favorite part of Jackson dealing with, in the storyline in this episode, was Jackson dealing with Chuck. Excuse my stammering. So then, within this A storyline, we have a subsection. We have Teddy panicking over sleeping with Tom, and she blatantly admitted to Maggie. I want Maggie and Teddy to have many, many scenes together. I love their interactions. I think they're so funny. And then Teddy told Owen that the father of the baby is up in the air. Owen's reaction was shocked, and Teddy was like, "Who will you pick?" And he was like, I didn't like how Teddy was so abrupt to leave him, and then she made out with Tom, possibly slept with him, most likely slept with him. I don't like how the writers are really trying to ruin Tom. I think it's really unfortunate. Now there's really even no reason to ruin it, since the baby's father is Lynx. And then we have Meredith and Owen working together, and I don't remember them working together for a long time, and this is when the patient died as well. But Owen and Meredith, I really wish they would talk about Teddy and Amelia. That'd be really fun, just to have like those two characters, you know, do something. As I said, I don't think they've done anything for quite some time. But overall, I really did like Meredith, Owen, Maggie, Teddy, and Tom scenes. I like the scenes of Tom and Meredith. I like the scene of Maggie and Teddy. I like the scene of Owen and Teddy as well. I really enjoyed all of them. I'm not a super fan of what's going on with Teddy's character, but I love Kim Raver, and Kim Raver's amazing. I just hope that they will be able to keep Telwyn alive. If Link and Amelia can stay alive and Telwyn can stay alive, I'll be very happy. So honestly, I really did like how this entire storyline is leading into, you know, the next episode. So it's building it up, and looks like the next episode is going to be very dramatic. So we have one more small storyline that happened in this episode. We have Weber Bailey and DeLuca as an underscore. Weber is having a really tough time dealing with his tremor, and to the point that he lashes at Bailey, and then Bailey's like, okay, fine, like I'll leave you alone. And then she talks to DeLuca, and then DeLuca tells Bailey that Weber put his service to someone else, which shocks her, and then Bailey goes back and talks to Weber, and then we have Weber essentially saying, I'm resigning from surgery, I'm going to, you know, consult, and I'll work on my pen and whatnot. So I like that Weber decided to come into his own and not lash out. He needs someone to talk to. He needs to be honest. He knows this from AA. And then that was really kind of it. I wish that Weber would tell Bailey why he's resigning from surgery. I think secrets on the show are not good, but overall, I was very happy with the result of the storyline. The reason why DeLuca again was involved was due to the fact that DeLuca told Bailey what happened with Weber, but also he's in therapy because of his mania, quote unquote. I'm glad they're dealing with his possible psychosomatic issues in therapy, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to resolve, because it looks like in next week's episode we're going to have some stuff go down with DeLuca as well. And then at the end of the episode, DeLuca was kind of like hitting on Joe, which no one wants that anymore. And then Joe gave him a wake up call, which I liked as well. So this episode I thought was solid. Like when you watch the show on rerun, you know, quote unquote reruns, when you're streaming it, you need to pay attention to this episode, because it does build up episode 18 quite a bit. And overall, I think the acting was great. The storylines were interesting. It was much better than last week's, and it's one of the better episodes of season 16 for sure. So share your thoughts about this episode in the comments below. But now let's talk about the trailer for Give a Little Bit. Meredith heads up at pro bono surgery day, but the overwhelming patient response causes her to struggle to keep things in order. DeLuca treats a teenage patient whom he suspects is in danger and desperately tries to get Bailey to support his theory. So this trailer is really good because it really focuses on, like, I would say even 1.5 of the description, because it's Meredith doing her pro bono surgery day, which is the money that she took from Chuck in this episode, in episode 17. So I like that. Now the description, as I said, 1.5 because both storylines are completely tied to the pro bono, but it really is focusing on Meredith. And then in this trailer, there's also like a little bit of violence, but the violence might have been caused by just someone being very abrupt. So it's like the trailer has 1.5 storylines and the description has 1.5 storylines. So I really do like that. I think it's a good trailer and a good description. I also like the fact that there's no Station 19. So in the trailer, we learned that there's 25 pro bono surgeries that are going to go on. That's insane. So drama clearly is going to go down. It looks like a really heated episode, which I'm looking forward to. We have Teddy's in this episode, Liz in this episode, Owen and Joe is in this episode, and then we have obviously Bailey and DeLuca. I really like the chemistry of Chandra Wilson and Giacomo. I think they work really well together. Now, Meriluca is also kind of is super on the rocks. Who knows what's going to happen with them? I do hope that something good comes out of it, and I also hope that Teddy can be honest with Owen in this episode and then move on. I mean, none of the romantic scenes are in this episode at all, and like what Amelia is going to be doing is irrelevant to the trailer and to the description. And what Teddy and Owen are really going to do, it really looks like it's going to be focused on operations. And this show hasn't had like a operation-based episode in a really long time. There's always been surgery, but like there's been an episode in recent memory where there was a absolute focus on the operation. Like there was an episode way back, I would say season 6, 7, or 8, where there was like the twins and they need to flip them. That was the whole purpose of the episode, was flipping the twins. Like that was a really cool episode. There was like light drama with the characters, which there probably will be with this, but the main storyline was all the doctors working together on the flip. It was definitely before season 9 because Lexi was alive and the residents were all, Meredith, Alex, and Christina were all in light blue scrubs. I remember that specifically. Now, it also has someone getting violent with the hospital staff. I mean, I wonder how violent it could be. I really hope a gun doesn't get pulled out. I think the show does not need to dramatize gun violence. I mean, we already had the amazing hospital shooting way back in season 6. That episode will stand the test of time, but I don't think in this day and age we need more gun violence on TV. And then, DeLuca's treating a patient who he suspects in danger. I'm really hoping that Meredith gets involved in DeLuca's storyline as quickly as she can, because we need to rectify Meriluca. Now, Hayes is in the trailer for this episode, but we don't know what he's going to be up to. And he's always kind of like a dark horse over Meriluca, and I do hope that he doesn't really interfere. Like, if he has to save DeLuca from himself, I'm going to be mad. But, as I said, I think the trailer is excellent because it only contains Grey's Anatomy. It's no longer a Station 19 advertisement, which is fantastic. It has the pro bono surgery storylines, and it tells you that something really bad is going to happen. In the description, it talks about the trailer, the pro bono, and then we have that DeLuca will be doing something. So, trailer has 2 storylines, description has 2 storylines. One of the description storylines is from the trailer. Like, this is how Grey's should be set up all the time. It's very, very good. So, share your thoughts in the comments below about episode 17 and the trailer for episode 18. I'm very much looking forward to your comments below. And thank you for watching. And we'll talk Grey's Anatomy next week. All right, guys. Bye.